Welcome back to Quarantine Apologetics, defending the faith while under lockdown. The left, we know the left hates the Christian faith. It hates the church, and it wants it gone. Okay? But how does the left, specifically the Western left, view non-Christian religion? Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Judaism. How does it view those faiths? Well, it wants them gone too, but it wants to use them for its own end first. It wants to use them as propaganda to make the West look like a multi-religious place. So it's like, oh, we're a place of all faiths. Sure, there are Christians, but there are Muslims and Sikhs and all that stuff. So I kind of wonder what was the relationship between the left and non-Christian faith. And I think I found it out. They want to use the non-Christian faith, although they want it gone ultimately, they want to use the non-Christian faith as propaganda against the Christian faith. I'll tell you why. And to promote anti-Christian values. In 2001, when the planes hit the towers and they fell down, at this point, all the Muslims, since George Bush was invading Muslim countries, Afghanistan, Iraq, the Muslims in the States and elsewhere in the West, because their countries were joining these wars, fled to the left for help. Although the left supported a lot of these wars initially, but still, they fled to the left for help. 20 years later, the left has taken them and molded them like putty into leftists. But, they have kept all the externals. Like, you will see Muslim women wearing their hijab, and they'll be pro-homosexual. Like, take a look at what's an idiot's name? Allan Omar in the States. She's got her headscarf, and she's a huge promoter of sodomy and feminism and all this stuff that traditional Islam is super against. But that's what the left wants. They want people like Allan Omar to have all the externals, but on the internals, it's leftism. Like, take a look at Peter Beinart. He goes to an Orthodox synagogue. He's Jewish. And he attacks Sohrab Ahmari for condemning Drag Queen Story Hour. He's like, whoa, how can you do... Like, Drag Queen Story Hour. What does the Torah say about drag queens? It doesn't care, because he's a leftist. He's a leftist. You know, that's what they want: the Jews, the Muslims, the Sikhs. In my country of Canada, the leader of the NDP, the New Democratic Party, it's a Sikh fellow by the name of Jagmeet Singh. And he has all the externals of a religious Sikh. He's got the beard. He's got the turban. And like he just it's part of his identity. And during the election, he was in Quebec, and then a guy tried to. He's like, "Oh, you should take off your turban. You know, in Rome, you do as the Romans do. You know."
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh stepped onto that stage tonight. He was thrown into a public debate right out of the blue. A man told him to cut off his turban to look more Canadian. CTV's Kevin Gallagher on the blatant racism and the thoughtful response.
Great, that sounds great. Bonjour, monsieur. As Jagmeet Singh met with Quebecers at a Montreal market, one man gave the NDP leader some unwelcome campaign advice.
You should cut your turban off and you look like a Canadian.
Oh, I think Canadians look like all sorts of people. That's the beauty of Canada.
But,
That's okay. I don't agree, sir.
In Rome, you do as the Romans.
Hey, but this is Canada. You can do like whatever you like.
All right.
Thanks.
I hope you.
I personally don't care about. Doesn't bother me if someone wants to wear a turban or hijab or whatnot. But at the same time, this Jagmeet Singh is he's everything the left wants in terms of faith. He's got all the externals. Oh, look at the beard. Look at the turban. You know. Oh, look at that female Muslim over there with her hijab. Take a look at that Jewish man over there with his kippah. But they don't have the values of those faiths. They only have leftist values. So therefore, they can be used to make war against the Christian faith. That's what it is. And it's so incredibly sad when you think about it. Because if you've ever seen the movie Silence, they do something similar in the movie Silence. There's two priests in Japan. What Japan would do, they'd persecute the Christians, but they really wanted to persecute the priests. They didn't want the priests, they weren't going to send them away, they weren't going to kill them. They wanted to deny their faith. They wanted the priests to deny their faith. And then they would live as a public apostate. You know, they'd call him a priest and stuff like that, but he's apostatized his faith. At least on paper, he's admitted to apostasy, whereas people like Jagmeet Singh, they pretend to care about their faith, but they obviously don't. So those apostate priests would live in Japan. They would make them take a wife to destroy their vow of celibacy, and so and you use this as propaganda against the few remaining Christians who are in hiding on the southern islands of Japan. So that's what the left wants to do. It wants to keep all the externals, but have no internals, have the internals leftism. Of course, 100 years ago, no Jews, no Muslims, no Sikhs believed in promoting sodomy or feminism or socialism or all these massive, huge, depraved views of the left. But that's what they're being used for now, and they're used that because we're a multi-religious society right now, you know. And every other religion, look, you know, they got their turbans, they got their hijabs, kippahs, all the externals, no internals. That's what the left wants with non-Christian religions. I hope you'll look out for this in the future. Like Ilhan Omar. Oh, man, what a crazy woman. But she's got her hijab. God bless.